Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. Recently, I was discussing with various different clients, both in sort of a more serious and sort of in a more casual manner, the notion of the so-called 30 plus 30 plus 30 leasing scheme here in Thailand, or the notion, I should say, of 30 plus 30 plus 30 leases here in Thailand. And to be clear, I've discussed this with Thai attorneys in our office. I'm not a specialist with respect to these matters, but just sort of a repository, or a liaison, I guess, of sort of have information with respect to the underlying details of such matters, I guess. So there's a notion that you can do a 30-year lease that has like an automatic 30-year renewal, automatic 30-year renewal. And yes, pursuant to sort of the notions of contractual obligations, you could have a right of first refusal noted in a lease. That being said, or something similar thereto. But basically, Thai law is pretty explicit, pursuant to provisions of the Civil and Commercial Code and other relevant regulations with respect to immovable property, aka real estate in Thailand. The maximum you can have with respect to a registered lease for residential property here in Thailand is 30 years. I state residential because in most cases, most foreigners who are looking at these long-term lease schemes are probably looking for long-term leasing for residential purposes. Commercial leases are slightly different. They're governed by different regulations, and I'm not going to get into that specifically here. The other thing to note is in another video on this channel, we discuss the fact that there have been recent announcements that the government is seriously considering creating more extended term leases, 50-year, 99-year leases, etc. Whether or not that actually is going to come to pass remains to be seen. As of the time of this filming, I haven't actually seen in practice that these things are coming to fruition. So for purposes of this video, we're simply talking about the sort of basic humdrum 30-year registered lease. Now, to be clear, and there's some speculation with respect to this, and I do know Thai practitioners who've told me over the years that it's theoretically possible. You could have a 30-30-30 lease insofar as you could pre-register a 30-year lease at the land department to end the day after another 30-year lease, which is already registered, has come to an end. It is technically, theoretically possible to do that. However, it should be kept in mind that land department officials have an exceptional amount of discretion with respect to these matters, especially if one is looking at this from sort of a Western paradigm with respect to how quote-unquote bureaucrats or civil officers should be operating. We sort of take the tack that they're basically like some sort of functionaire, if you will. They just undertake what the law prescribes. In Thailand, they have a much more discretionary character. There are many more discretionary characteristics to their status as officers of the government with respect to land and real estate matters. So it's going to come down to dealing with the land office and sort of the interpretation of the law and the specific circumstances at issue as well. There are some circumstances where it may be possible that a sort of longer-term lease scheme structure may be allowed, depending on the circumstances. It's sort of akin to foreigners actually can own land here in Thailand, foreign nationals. The restriction being that the Minister of the Interior has to sign off on that foreigner's purchase of the land or inheritance of the land or whatever, basically, sort of countersign to the notion of that foreign national's ownership of property in Thailand. This is quite different from notions, again, in a Western context with respect to these issues. But basically, the thing to take away from this video is 30 plus 30 plus 30 leases are theoretically possible. And I state that very, I want that to be sort of clear. It is in theory possible to have a sort of a 90-year lease scheme in a 30-30-30 sort of setup, but it's going to be subject to exceptional scrutiny and to the discretion of the land department. It is not something that can simply be created between two individuals and just signed off on and have that document have full legal effect for the full duration of that 90 years. Moreover, it should be noted that all leases over a duration of 3 years have to be registered with the land department to be fully enforceable here in Thailand. So any lease which is of a longer duration will need to be fully registered in order to receive full enforcement under the laws of the Kingdom of Thailand. Again, it's very wise to contact professional legal services, Thai attorneys specifically, with respect to assistance and guidance in these matters. We have Thai attorneys on staff at the firm. I am not a Thai attorney. This is just information that I've been asked to impart in English and asked to relay it in a nuanced way, sort of by way of comparison to the way Western common law legal notions sort of look at these issues. But that being said, it's very wise to go ahead and retain the services of a Thai attorney to assist in completing and executing these documents in such a way that the individual gets exactly what he or she is trying to get, with sort of full transparency and with full understanding going in.